Should have that other table. Okay.
Okay, now it's live on YouTube. Just waiting to hear back to make sure it's up on the website, and then we will be good to go. There's still just that little lag of delay before it goes out on to everyone. Hey, we are good to go.
Hey, thank you. All right, this is the Professional Services Committee meeting for ALCOSAN, July 13th, 2023. And I want to thank all who were participating today. And I'll ask Ms. Prater to do the roll call.
Good afternoon, everyone. Emily Kincaid.
Here.
Shanna Thorpe Gilliam.
Present.
Sylvia Wilson.
Here.
That concludes.
Thank you. All right, today we begin with one informational item. It's an RFQ for an entry-level pre-employment evaluation. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, as the board is aware, for employment opportunities within our main bargaining unit, that is the Utility Workers of America, Local 433. All of those positions, I should not say all, everything that we hire for that is not a journeyman's position or a chemist position or a scholastic position comes through the custodian position. We instituted in 2000 a pre-employment test at that entry level slot to determine the skill sets that people had and the aptitude for positions that they would move into over the course of their career. So we're not testing for a custodian's aptitude. We're testing for the aptitude to be able to move into any of the higher level positions. It has been since just about 2000 since we have reevaluated and taken a look at the factors in that test that evaluate somebody's capabilities. It's time to look-see. We are simply going out to request qualifications for firms that will be able to do that for us. We're looking forward to that, as are all the people who are looking forward to taking that test in the coming months and years.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move into action items. A motion to approve the following short list for a capital project S463. It's in the final design stage of the primary sedimentation tanks E4 and E5. There are 4 on the short list, but I'm just going to go ahead and move it to you, Ms. Williams. Would you turn it over to someone else?
This is the handoff for the handoff?
That's exactly right.
Okay, so this project will address the need for additional primary sedimentation tanks. It continues to we continue to change the layout of the operation, adding more capacity for the additional flow that we will be treating. I will hand it off to the Director of Engineering and Construction, Kim Kennedy, to give you more about the project. Kim.
Thank you, Arletta. This is it. This is the last design project of the wet weather plant expansion. Pretty major milestone. We issued an RFQ to gather interest for the project back in May. And we got 7 submittals at the end of June, on June 23rd. So the evaluation team took a look at the 7 submittals, and we did, like you said, recommend 4 for further evaluation into getting an RFP. This is a very structural heavy job, so we looked at the structural components as well as the process engineering that's required. This project, the design and the construction, will also include the demolition of 2 of our existing buildings on site, which is the laboratory and then the industrial waste building, and they'll be located on the back end of the parking garage. That's the topping off ceremony that we did a couple weeks ago. So this not only is this the primary sub tank job, but it's also the demo of those 2 buildings and that staff relocating to that new location. So with that, we're looking to recommend Geosyntec, GHD, HDR, and WRA to the next phase of the procurement.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, then hearing none, could I have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right. Item B is a motion to approve the following shortlist for the underground utility locating services. Now, Ms. Williams, I turn it over to you first, because there's always sometimes the opportunity or you might want to have something to say before you turn it over.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. As the bang has picked up quite heavily right now outside of my window, perhaps I won't have much to say other than, yeah, underground utilities. Time to re-up. Used to think we could do it. Now we've got somebody else doing it. Again, kicking it to Kim, and we're gonna find the bangers.
Okay, so she she sent it to me. We first did this project about 3 years ago, Mike.
Yes.
And so it is time to go back out. This is for Pennsylvania One Call. It's a requirement in Pennsylvania, call before you dig. This is the service that will take those phone calls and go out and make sure that the construction that's going out out there in the system isn't affecting any of the places where we have infrastructure. So we went out for an RFQ in June, similar schedule to the primary tanks. And after review and discussion of the qualification packages, we are recommending shortlist of 3 firms, and that's Allegheny Utility Solutions, Collective Efforts, and T2 Utility Engineers.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, a motion and a second to approve, please.
Motion.
Okay, Miss Thorpe Gilliam, you need a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye. All right, thank you. Item C is a motion to recommend modification of the service authorization 314 for Keystone Acquisition Services under the agreement for engineering consultant services for an additional year, no cost extension of services until July 2024. And they are working with the property and right-of-way acquisition services. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, first, apologies to Mike. Mike, yes, that was yours. I was trying to stop the banging, but I'm sure we can tell that didn't work because
You did a great job.
I'm sure she did. Sure she did. This item and the next are pretty much identical. As the committee will remember, we have 2 property consultants. Just given the size of our service area and what we need to accomplish, we felt it was best to go with 2 providers. each of these is a no-cost extension. We did not make the progress that we had anticipated when we initiated this contract. We're catching up, and as the board is well aware, we are doing more with property acquisition right now than we ever have before, with more to come. So again, each of these items, no cost extensions, just continuing the service.
Okay, thank you. All right, hearing no questions, we'll just go ahead and ask for a motion in a second for item C.
Motion. Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And since item D is identical except for the site, could I ask for a motion in a second on this, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item E is a motion to recommend an award of retained engineer to Hatch and to authorize the executive director to negotiate a fee. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, we are pleased to be able to bring a recommendation to you for the retained consultant contract. It is the engineer of record. You hear from them for support on the annual budget. They do evaluations of the treatment process, and they're, generally speaking, that extension of staff to have that additional right-hand engineering support. We had 4 firms that had been shortlisted. The evaluations were across the organization because the retained consultant provides service across the organization. It just so happens that the incumbent is who we are recommending, and we'll be pleased to respond to any inquiries on that recommendation.
Any inquiries? Okay, motion in a second to approve, please.
So
Motion.
moved. Second.
Oh, aye. Motion is carried. Item F is a motion to award construction management services for contract 1779 and annual interceptor cleaning to JMT and to authorize the executive director to negotiate a fee. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, our director of regional conveyance has been a little under the weather. So I do believe it was the grace of God that had me skip him for the utility locator services so he could save it all up. Mike, give it to him. Take
Thank
it
you.
away.
Thank you, Arlette. I'm fighting off a cold here. This project is to conduct construction management on approximately 20 miles of sewer, predominantly in the Turtle Creek areas of our system. We recently transferred about 11 miles of sewer from Monroeville. That will be included in this effort. This inspection includes CCTV of all the transfer sewers and collecting the databases as well as the videos from these sewers. We shortlisted 3 firms in April with the greatest ability to perform the work. These firms were sent requests for proposals. In early July, 6 management staff met and evaluated the proposal. And based on approach, overall team, loading, and MBEWB participation, and based on the overall scoring, JMT was selected as the firm best able to perform the scope of services.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any questions or concerns? All right, hearing none, motion in a second, please.
Motion.
She seconded, she showed her 3 fingers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. She let me know that too. All right, thank you. We have no new business, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. These items that we approved today will be presented to the full board at our monthly board meeting on July 27th. And this professional services committee will not meet again until September 14th. So thank you all, and we are adjourned.